I'm Rich Drew, professional mountain bike coach. Today I'm going to give you a little walk around, probably more of a ride around, on the newly revamped Slaughter Pen Skills Park. Are you ready? Now, you're watching this video, I assume you found it because either you're already here in the mountain bike capital of the world getting ready to ride, or you're looking to plan your trip. And there's a lot of questions. Where is the Skills Park? What does the Skills Park have? And should I be there? Now, the newly revamped Skills Park is in the heart of Slaughter Pen Phase 1. It's an easy greenway cruise from downtown if that's where you're starting, or you can park right over there, the main parking lot, again, a short pedal over on the greenway. Now, a couple things to think about. I'm here filming this at pre-7 o'clock in the morning because it generally gets pretty packed. So anywhere here in the Oz Trails, be mindful, especially if it's a high traffic weekend or time of the year. You're gonna encounter a lot of people first on the greenway. People may be going for some Strava KOMs, I don't know. People just checking things out, looking around. Be defensive, look up, look ahead, and anticipate little kids darting around just because they're excited and they want to ride. And once you get here, the same thing applies. There's a ton of traffic, and it's really easy, one, to start to get frustrated because people are having fun. They get caught up in the moment. And maybe slow down a little bit, be aware of your surroundings. There's a ton of signage. There's a couple one-way signs that hopefully get across to people, don't go backwards on this. Now, you may be thinking, why would anybody do that? I've seen it done. And again, it's not out of malice, it's because people just, they're fired up, they're in the moment. So have some grace, be prepared, and for the love of everything holy on the mountain bike, start slow. Beginner skill zone, solid place to start. You got to the rider's right, nice little pump line, help you get acclimated to the terrain, your bike, bring those nerves back in check. And then a couple of jump lines. The one in the center, great, really set up to try to help people get more comfortable with the takeoff. And then on the far left, you have the biggest of the 3 jump lines in the beginner zone, 3 decent sized tabletops. And I think the thing to think about here from a progression standpoint, the idea isn't get a ton of speed to hit these jumps. The idea is more use these jumps and the speed that you're given to try to create some better technique. Best thing I can tell you is it's not where you land, it's how you got there. Now, after you get comfortable running some jump lines, you got a couple of drops. Now, very basic, low-key drops, and I think the idea here is to get people comfortable getting in the proper position as they roll off. Now, I'm not gonna get too deep into that, but what I can tell you is only do what you need to do. And honestly, the majority of people, unless it's a younger rider on a really small bike, you can roll right off those drops. Now, once you've been here for a while, getting yourself sorted out, you know, one of my things, I like to tell people, go ride the trails a little bit after that and take that newfound confidence and have some fun. Then you can come back and you can move yourself over to the intermediate zone. Here we go, intermediate zone. This is probably one of the most popular spots here, and for good reason. Dealing with drops is something that a lot of people express they have issues with at either Ride Series clinics or when we do private coaching. So this is a great spot to really try to work on that. The beauty of it is there's 3 drops that slowly build up in size, but again, they're very low key and they allow you to really work through what that technique's supposed to be. Here we go, 3 lanes, so small, medium, large. Best way I think to go about this is take some time on the small one, get comfortable, try to figure out what the speed is, and then go from there. Don't think bigger, bigger, bigger. Think better, better, better. Stay on the small one, really get that one dialed in before you roll the dice up on the next one. And the best advice I could give you on this, pretty straightforward. Think of physics and gravity. Point A to point B, you want to get there as quickly as possible. And when it comes to drops, now I don't want to get too deep into technique. This isn't a how-to. All I will tell you is this. You don't need to hop off these. You see a lot of people hopping, and what that does, puts them higher, puts them further, more pressure when they land, and it gets really bad when you get to the bigger ones. Here's what it boils down to. You can hop if you want, but my advice is learn how to not hop, because if you're at a drop that doesn't need a hop, like these, well, it's something that can go wrong. There's no need for that. See that right there? That's a windsock. Look at the windsock. If you roll up, the wind's blowing, the trees are moving around, use the windsock, try to get an idea of where the wind's coming from. Again, be careful. If you're a newer rider, not super confident, you get super tense in the air, this might be an issue, and that wind could certainly blow you off course. So be prepared. Here we go, we're up at the advancing section, which I really like that name. And the idea is, as the sign says, this is a spot that you can confidently push your limits without pushing your threshold. So let that sink in a little bit. Four things going on here. First are the two drops, so drop 6 and 7. Decent amount bigger than what you had down in the intermediate zone. The progression from the third drop in the intermediate zone to the smaller of the two big drops here. If you're super confident on the one in the intermediate zone, I think there's potential you have this one in you. But my advice, again, I keep offering it, look at it from the side. Go from point A to point B, and that's both of the drops up here. I've watched a lot, I've sat here, and the challenge that people have is they come in a little too fast and they hop and they go deep. The takeoff is sloped pretty well, so if you come off and just nose the bike down and get it in, that's the safest and most effective way. After that, if you want to get all steezy and do crazy things, you can certainly do that. But take a look at it. I recommend being about 80% confident. And if you're not, if you're looking at it over and over and over again, just not sure if you should hit it, maybe save it for another day. Now, another area I really dig is right here. It's called Berm Diggity. Now, Berm Diggity, as the name implies, it's a bunch of berms. But here's what I love. Using it for private coaching is pretty awesome because the optimum turning technique is the optimum turning technique. What I have people do is go through and use the berms, which give us confidence and traction, to work the technique for flat turns. Now, there's no rule book. There's no rules here that say you can't use this for that. This environment is to be leveraged for you to grow more confident working your technical skills. Berm Diggity is a great spot to do it. Now, speed can pick up pretty quickly, so keep the speed in check. Again, pre-ride, re-ride, free ride. There's no downside to that. You can come back up and do it again, which leads me to one of the coolest names ever for a trail. It's called Pump Fiction. Annika Beerton came up with that one, and I really like this trail. We got to give a lot of input, and a lot of mine was focused around Pump Fiction. I wanted something that was very progressive in nature, that would allow people the opportunity to get comfortable starting to pump as speed builds, but once they were comfortable, they could slowly start doubling through this. This is the one that's really caused me personally some issues. Every time I'm out here, I see people come up to the top, look at it, and roll in with a ton of speed. And the challenge is, well, it's physics. This trail is set up where you either have to go slowly enough to roll or fast enough to double, double, double. If you're in between, it can get very, very challenging. So take your time, slow roll it, then go a little bit faster, then go a little bit faster. And if you're not sure you have the ability to jump it, well, just take some time or go back down there and work on your jumping technique. Last but certainly not least, we got Yeah Buddy. Pretty solid intermediate jump line. 3 really good jumps, and I think these are designed to get that rider who's built some confidence jumping down in the beginner zone, taking it to a couple spots around the slaughter pen trails, and now wants to bring that game up even higher. A couple things to think about here. There is a gate in the entry with a bit of a chicane in it, and the idea is You don't start from outside and roll in because you don't need to. You don't need that much speed. You'll notice I keep saying need. It's a need. You can go faster, but you don't need it. And like I said earlier, don't bias with speed on these. I can't stress enough, it's not where you land, it's how you got there. Success isn't getting the backside of these. Success is using these to grow more confident with what needs to happen on the takeoff. I've heard it from a lot of people, man, I can take off, I just can't land. Well, if you have problems landing, it's probably because you took off poorly. So again, what are you gonna do? Well, pre-ride, maybe pre-ride again, re-ride, and free ride. With this, especially if it's windy, pay a little bit more attention. You might wanna chill out a little bit more. I've gotten crossed up a little bit with the wind as it howls through, and it can cause some issues. Once you get to the bottom, straight line in the brakes, make that left turn. Be careful, it can be a little loose at times, and then just look out to see if anybody else is there as you merge over. All right, there you go, solid little walk through. Catch some people riding here at the newly revamped Slaughter Pen Skills Park. An amazing spot for progression. Quite frankly, I haven't seen anything like this anywhere I've been around the country. Just another one of those elements that speaks to this being the mountain bike capital of the world. If you're coming out, if you have questions, drop them below. Be happy to help. There's a lot of resources out here. I've made a ton of videos. Hopefully that'll help guide you through. If you have specific questions, hey, again, reach out. You want to get better instantly on your bike? I'm here to help. Could dial you in on this spot or any other area around the Oz Trails. Hit www.therideseriesmtb.com to get our clinic schedule and our private coaching schedule. It is late July. We're heading out to Colorado to do some filming. We'll do a clinic in Denver at Ruby Hill Park on August 9th, I believe. And then we have a couple things in the Oz Trails. We're doing an enduro prep session towards the end of August. And then the last weekend of August, I believe, don't quote me on these dates, we're doing a weekend of just drops and just jumps. So we have more of a beginner's drop and beginner's jump session. I say beginner, some people don't like that. Let's call it basics. And then after that is progression on drops and jumps. We'll use the Ride Series Ground School, some bigger ramps to get everybody comfortable, and then we'll bring it out here, and the goal is hopefully check all these boxes. There you go. Hopefully you come out. Hopefully I'll see you out here on the trail. In the meantime, stay positive, have grace, especially for people out here, and smile. And yeah, have a great day. Peace out. Dumpers.